and Sunnah until the Day of Judgment. So what did Abdullah ibn Umar and Usama ibn Zayd decided to do? They decided not to be a part of the fitna, not to take sides. Even though they did not imprison themselves at home, they did not say or not talking to people, they attended the jama'at, they mingled with the Muslim community, they enjoyed what's right and forbid what's evil, but they did not play or take part by any means in the events of the fitna. They supported neither one of them. Because if you take a side, then you already consider. And if we can, brothers and sisters, solve our problems in this fashion, on a community level, we have to understand that as long as there is Islam and there is a Muslim community, there is shaitan and his assistants, shayateen. They will not let any community prosper and enjoy happiness and peace. No, they have to create problems. Most of those problems would arise as a result of differences in ideological thinking. So, if we have two different ideologies, or two different ethnicities, 3, 4, or more, then ya akhi, we have to come to a kalimatin sawa. As long as it's not on account of the deen, we have to compromise. You cannot always pass your opinion all the time, even if you are the leader of the community. We have to observe the needs of everybody else. In order to keep the ship sailing, we have to assist one another. We have to accept one another, or the result will be hindering the ship from sailing. And it would lead to sinking. And the whole community will drown. Imagine in some communities where they fight for years to pass one decision concerning one thing. What happens? They have not been productive for years. Rather, they wasted the money which they collected from the Muslim community on their disputes. As a result of that, if there is a serious attempt to give da'wah or to expand or whatever, nobody is showing any interest to partake in this process. Why? Because they know it will end up with a failure. It will end up with a failure. Who can regulate all of that? If the community is following a wise and an educated, religiously educated imam. In this country, unfortunately, we're lacking of educated imams. Most of those whom I know are not imams, are not scholars, but some mujtahideen who made some effort. They did not study classic studies in an Islamic school. They did not carry an Islamic degree. Rather, they took some classes, they read a few books from here and there, and they ended up leading the community. So after years, they have been known as Imam Saab or Sheikh so and so. And when you dig in their background, there is no religious knowledge background. They did not acquire a degree that says that they studied the principles of jurisprudence, they did studied the belief or aqidah or fiqh or any of that. So the decision will be based on what? Based on hawa, based on whims and desire, which is devastating. Last but not the least, on the personal level, the singular level, if a person is single, we've taken it from the whole Muslim community at large, to each individual community, to the family level, to the couple level, and now to the singular level. If one by himself is interested in integrating with the local community and getting married to one of the non-Muslims, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed that, but with a limit. So there is some sort of integration in the Quran in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَالْمُحْصَنَاتُ مِنَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ. It is permissible for you to pursue in marriage al-muhsanat. يعني al-muhsanat. What does it mean? This is the condition. It is permissible for you to marry al-muhsanat of the Jews and Christians. But what's al-muhsanat? Who knows?
بالعربي ولا بالإنجليزي؟
زي ما تحب.
طبعا التي تحصن نفسها، التي تحافظ على نفسها من الزنا.
المحصنات, the chaste women. Chaste means what? They have not been involved in an illicit relationship. So, if you're pursuing a girl who just broke up with her boyfriend, she's not a muhsana. You cannot marry her. Such marriage is invalid. Such marriage is invalid. So while Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed it, but time changes the fact. If in our time it is very difficult to find a local girl who did not have a boyfriend, who did not establish a relationship with somebody outside marriage relationship, then we say if the condition is not fulfilled, then the ruling is suspended. Because this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said. وَالْمُحْصَنَاتُ مِنَ الْكِتَابِ وَالْمُحْصَنَاتُ مِنَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ. Yet, if one finds such woman who's interested in her marriage, has also to think about the bigger picture, the greater goal, which is, why do we get married? Why? Huh? Kids. One, two, ihsan, so that you protect yourself. You do not have a relationship outside marriage. Huh? What else? Huh? إيش؟ Well, having as many children to increase the Muslim population. Okay, what else? There are assisting and helping one another to achieve what's good. You know that when one is a single, he does not focus 100% on achieving his goals and fulfilling his jobs, because there is a great part of his time is diverted towards contemplating having a relationship with the other gender. So that will be fulfilled through having an assistant and a life mate, awan, right? So this life mate is not just a vessel that would carry and bear the child and produce children. No, you're having an assistant. You're having somebody who would correct you if you err, somebody who will direct you if you mistake, and so on. So in order to make this choice, this is not an easy one to make. When I wanted to get married one day, and I was interested in marrying a local girl, I consulted my sheikh. I called a big time sheikh in Egypt, and I said, I am about to marry a local girl here, and this and this and that. So you know how he answered me? He did not give me a lecture. He did not ask me about her ethnicity or background or. He said, just make sure that who's going to be your kid's uncle. Your kids are going to call whom? Uncle. And this phrase, this word, is very brief and precise, but it is very powerful. So you're not only marrying the girl, you're marrying the whole family. When your kids one day will go to their grandparents and they're throwing a party, or celebrating whatever, or eating pork, or his grandmother is having a boyfriend, or his aunt is having this, his aunt is having a girlfriend, or. And obviously, you cannot cut off your wife from her family, nor can you impose on her not to take the kids to visit the family. So all of those consequences have to appear on a big flat screen in your mind before making the decision. Because sometimes when one is in the mood of fulfilling his desire, he cannot resist the beauty of this woman. You love her, then you're negligent of the other important pillars, which are forming and formulating a family. So this comment and the remark of my sheikh made me think thoroughly, and eventually I changed my mind. By the end, alhamdulillah,